Hi guys, welcome to webisode 6. This week we have lots to inform you about, starting with tobacco information, healthy lifestyle choices, and the TRX workout with Ben. First up we have Sean Appo talking with Jacob Hill about nicotine replacement therapy and Jacob's goal of ultimately quitting cigarettes.
My name's Jacob Hill. I'm 19, come from the Bundjalung Nation, and my father's from over west in Perth, the Bibbulmun Nation, in the southwest of Perth, southwest of Western Australia. So I grew up in Newtown, Marrickville area, in the inner west for about 10 years. I lived in Marrickville, and I've lived in Newtown since I was 14.
Excellent. So now, tell us when you started smoking and why it was that you started smoking.
Yeah, I started smoking on and off. When I first touched a cigarette, I was 13 with my friend. We were at a park, and he said, "Look, just give it a try." I had a puff, coughed for about 10 minutes, so. And then I just gradually on and off. I'd have a cigarette or two before school, and then I'd go without a cigarette for 6 months, and then I'd pick one up again with the friends and everything like that. So it was just really on and off. And then full time I started smoking when I was around 16, 17. I lived in the Territory for about a year, and then up there I started smoking full time, and it's just, yeah.
So what was it about living in the Territory that made you start smoking full time?
I guess I wasn't in schooling, and I didn't have a job then. So a lot of things was boredom, and I've found with smoking a lot of the thing with that is boredom.
Okay. What about parents or other role models that you may have looked up to? Did they smoke when you were young?
Yeah, my mum's a full-time smoker. She's been smoking since she was 14. So I guess having that person there, you know, seeing them smoke all throughout your life, it's obviously been a constant thing. My dad also, he smoked, and a lot of aunties and uncles have smoked and everything like that.
Yeah. So now, how many cigarettes per day would you be smoking?
Probably be smoking around 15 cigarettes. On a good day, in terms of saving cigarettes, I'd probably go with 10, so half a packet. But other days, it sort of varies. I can smoke 20 cigarettes in a day, but mostly around 15.
And at the moment, how much is a packet of cigarettes costing you?
My local tobacconist is probably around $19 for a packet of Winfield Blue 20s. Okay. So yeah, it's...
And what kind of things throughout the day make you feel like you need to have a cigarette?
I guess it's just a ritual. After a coffee or during a coffee, when you're stressed out, after lunch, after dinner, and again, you know, when you're bored at home, you know, when you're not doing anything proactive, you know, you just pick a cigarette up.
Yeah. And what kind of things do you find stress you out during each day?
Sometimes it's, you know, the people that you interact with. Other times it's just you feel stressed and you feel the need for a cigarette. So.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that, because a lot of times people who smoke, they actually confuse feeling stressed for having a nicotine craving. So it's actually your body and your brain mostly is sort of screaming at you to say, where's our nicotine, where's our nicotine? And then as soon as you have that first puff, that nicotine goes straight to the parts of the brain that's stimulated by that, and then that starts calming down. So it'll be interesting talking with you over the week to see what kind of stressful situations you do come across, and then trying to separate out, okay, are you actually being stressed out by something, or is it your brain craving that nicotine? So hopefully we can come up with some ideas to get you thinking about that during the next week. I guess what I wanted to also discuss was, why do you think you should quit smoking?
I've got a long family history of, on both sides of the family, of heart troubles, heart disease. My dad suffered from emphysema. He also suffered heart troubles. My auntie suffers from emphysema. My grandmother on my mother's side went through a triple bypass heart surgery to do with smoking. So it's, you know, it's prevalent there in both sides of the family. So, you know, having that added, you know, I guess stress on my lungs and my heart, yeah, it's just, you know, I really do want to quit.
So do you feel like you have a pretty good understanding of the link between long-term smoking and ending up with those kinds of chronic diseases?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the path you definitely don't want to go down?
No.
Okay, cool. So what we'll do now is we'll go through the app that we've got. And as I said before, it's just some simple questions about your tobacco use. That question and that question, this question now, is the one that works out what kind of nicotine dependency your body has.
Yeah.
Results of this should come back to you. So you should get a PDF that says, I just did the tattoo app and this is what I said, and then so that you can go back at a later date and see whether the information in here is now relevant for you or whether you've made changes. So it's just basically for your own records. So those last couple of questions, they're just if you want to put it up on Facebook that you've done the app, and so that you're almost like outing yourself and saying that this is where I'm at with my smoking, I want to quit. And so other people know. Okay. And then the other one about Quitline is if you want Quitline to call you back. So a lot of people, they do want to get help, but they want it to be sort of secret help. Yeah, sort of, and that's what, and Quitline will do that for them. You just, so with your details that are in there, if you wanted to be contacted by Quitline, you press that button, your details will go off to Quitline, and then they'll call you back, and then you can have that confidential discussion with them about support for actually quitting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
It's great to see Jacob engaging with nicotine replacement therapy. Good luck, and we'll be catching up with him in our next webisode to check his progress.
So my dad grounded me. I haven't even been smoking that long. I know smoking is bad, but it can't be that bad because he smokes too.
Lillian, I'm home. Children learn from those they admire. What are you teaching them?
What are you doing? Where'd you get that from?
Quit for yourself, quit for your family, quit for life.
Porridge is my favourite breakfast. Up next, we have 5 delicious porridge dishes that are healthy and will keep you buzzing until lunch.
Hi everyone, welcome to Eat to Live Well. Today we are changing up the traditional porridge dish without spending too much money and still keeping it healthy. The standard porridge dish consists of 1 cup of milk, half a cup of oats, a bowl and 2 minutes in the microwave. After you make the basic dish, you can add a variety of toppings. Option 1, apples, sultanas and cinnamon. Option 2, sultanas and apricots. Option 3, bananas and syrup. Option 4, mixed frozen berries. And option 5, kiwi fruit for a summery breakfast. There we have it, 5 different options for 5 days of the week. Please leave a comment below, we would love to hear about your porridge creations.
Up next, Ben chats with Henry Button about his healthy lifestyle motives and what keeps him going with his healthy eating and his physical exercise.
So what we've got here with the Life app is a visual representation of what your health looks like at this moment in time, so an instant sort of feedback, and we encourage people to do it over and over again so that you can get a sort of time snap of where you're at. So we're here today with Henry, the superstar of the National Centre of Indigenous Excellence, and I'm just going to get him to introduce himself to you.
Obviously my name's Henry, Henry Button, come from Cummeragunja, moved to Sydney September '09. Previously, I've worked in the health and fitness and aquatic industry on and off since 1996. One of my best mates found the job advertisement for the NCIE in the Courier Mail. I got in touch that night, I think, and I just always felt that this centre was built for me to come work here. So I love the centre.
So tell us a little bit about growing up in Melbourne. What was your childhood like?
So growing up on the Murray River, we were always active as kids. We grew up with bush, so we're chasing kangaroos, rabbits through the hills and all those sort of things, sand hills, swimming in the river every summer, playing cricket every summer, and obviously during winter we're playing footy. So I was always, as a kid, very, very active. You leave school and you drop off a little bit. And
so you talk about that period after school where you dropped off a lot of this activity level, I guess. Yeah. What would be some of the barriers there that you faced?
I was working on the CDEP at the time. My first job was a CDEP, 10 hours a week or something like that, 15, maybe 20 hours a week. All that spare time, because I wasn't with my mates being active, kicking the footy and playing cricket and those sort of things, basically just sitting around watching tally. From being physically active, 3 to 4 times a day, every day, to just being active, on the weekend and so on. During winter that was. Summer is a different thing because we're down the river all the time, swimming to keep cool, so yeah.
So have you ever been a smoker?
No.
Have you ever tried smoking?
As a child I might have had one or two, just hanging around because that's what was in at the time, but it was never for me.
Okay, so you tried it, was it because you saw elders smoking or other mates or?
The cousins I grew up with were like 3 to 4 years older than what I was. That's what they were into. So, I wanted to be like my older cousins who I, idolised and stuff like that. So it wasn't for me.
So I met you probably about 3 years ago now. It was the tail end of your weight loss journey. So tell us a little bit about that. Where'd you start and what was your goal? We
were trying to have a child at the time, unsuccessful. So I thought, I've got to get myself right first to give us every chance of having a child. So how it started was we were at a wedding one night, 7-course meal, so the food just kept coming and coming. And when you're raised in the country and you got probably 10 people living in a 2-bedroom house, you're taught not to waste your food. So the food kept coming and coming, and I said to my wife's mother at the time, I said, tomorrow I might start a detox. And she laughed at me and said, yeah, right. I cut out probably the main factor that I ate a lot, which was bread. Bread and potatoes, so it's just a starchy carbs. So I ate a lot of fruit, a lot of veggies, a lot of grilled chicken, grilled fish, so on, nuts, drank a lot of water. So I lost 34 kilo in a total of 17 weeks. The first 20 kilo was all food. Exercise was only walking. We had a 12-week challenge here amongst the staff members. I'd miss the start of it. I would walk probably a minimum of 3 hours a day. So for me, just the walking was a big factor because I could still feel myself, I was lifting weights towards the end of it, of the challenge, but I could feel myself gaining fitness just from walking and eating. No soreness in my joints, no aches in my muscles. I wasn't restricted in any way. So I thought, what, I'm feeling really, really good.
So you talk about walking that 3 hours and you use your lunch times. How else did you find 3 hours a day to get that walking in?
So I would walk to the train station. There was one night in particular I was feeling really, really good. I just chucked my headphones in. I walked from here to the Ashfield train station. After doing a training session here, I'd often go for a bit of a walk afterwards just because my body was feeling sensational. And I kid you not, that weight loss is the easiest thing I've done in my life. Once you get into a routine and you stay disciplined, it's easy. Right now, there's a little bit of a time issue because we have a 20-month-old daughter at home.
Okay, so you're talking about changing your goals and your health and how that looks at different times of your life. What's been the catalyst for you to select your goals?
I do enjoy the way I look, but more importantly, I love the way I feel. Sleep better at night and you more energy when you wake up in the morning. What I did do though is I probably made it more about the exercise rather than the food. So I've got to make the focus back on eating more vegetables. Still eat a lot of fruit. I don't eat a lot of junk. It's just that I'm not eating the veggies.
So you spoke about coming up from Victoria to Sydney following your wife. How difficult was it changing a support network or creating a new support network when you're up here?
My initial thinking is as long as I'm able to play cricket. I do have family here in Sydney that I see every so often. It's never been a major issue, but I am thankful for the friends that I've created since working here.
You talk about the challenges of having a young family now. Is that a motivation for you or a different trigger for you in terms of what your health looks like?
As our daughter is getting a little bit older, one of us are going to have to chase after her and so on. And if we decide, we're going to try for another child, it's the same thing. It's, I want to be healthy. It's probably a good idea that I do give the footy away. The mind is willing, but the body is probably not as good as I would like it to be right now, which is, probably the signs is not to overdo things and, hurt your body really badly, and you're not going to be able to, run around after your daughter and so on.
So you're talking about, not that you're old or anything, but how your body's changed as you got older, playing things like football and cricket. How have you modified your training to keep yourself able to play?
During the summer, it's not an issue because of the warmer weather. Cardio running, high intensity running is not an issue, but gets a lot harder during the cold. Your joints hurt a little bit more, and maybe an alternative to doing all those cold night trainings, and maybe looking into yoga, just increase balance, strength and flexibility and so on.
I know that you've used spin bikes in the past to help you get back to running.
So I found through one, riding a lot, but also teaching the spin classes, is that I was gaining the strength in my legs to be able to run all day, but run with power. Because of my age, I've slowed down a lot. Cycling helps, keeps my legs strong, and just I feel that power there, and I'm able to run a bit better. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Henry.
No worries, thank you, Ben.
Okay, and is there anything else?
Yeah, I'll get a packet of my regular smokes too, please.
That's $23.20.
Well, I've only got $22.
$23.20.
How much does smoking really cost you? Quit for yourself, quit for family, quit for life.
We're looking at the TRX cables this week. The beautiful thing about these, they can be set up anywhere, outdoors, indoors, basically anywhere you've got a pole or a tree branch or a seat. First exercise we're going to look at is an underhand pull. What you're going to see is both Josh and myself are working at a low level here, at a beginner level, so a little bit of angle on the body and just pulling with an underhand grip, just so that your hands come towards your armpits. Next one we've got is just a chest press. Similar to a push-up, what we're looking at is hands coming towards your shoulders and pushing straight out and together. Next exercise is a single leg lunge. This one requires a little bit of balance and to really engage your core. Trick to this is once your foot is in that sling, is keep your weight on your front foot in the heel and move very slowly. You don't need a huge range of motion, but just load up the glute and then come to a nice stand. Try not to rush. Next exercise we've got is called a Y pull. So as you can see, it's M position, we're coming up like a capital Y. Trick to this one once again is nice, slow, constant movement. Try to do it with your feet underneath you. The further your feet go up, the harder it becomes. This is a beginner exercise, but it is quite tough all the same. TRX squats are a great thing because as you can see, both of us can go right towards the ground, which is a bigger range of motion. Our hands are just there to keep our balance as we go back. But once again, if you're starting this exercise, try not to go too deep, just go where you can comfortably bend at the knee. Single leg squats, same principle as a squat, but a lot harder. Your hands, once again, are going to have to grip a little bit tighter to keep yourself from falling backwards. Once again, don't go too deep, just go to where you're comfortable with the knee. Tricep extension, what we're going to do is get both elbows up above your ears, and then you're going to bend, keeping your elbows as tight to your head as you can. Try not to let your elbows come too far in front of your face throughout the exercise. Bicep curls, a simple one, just bring your hands to come up towards your shoulders. Try to touch them onto your shoulders if you can. Once again, keep your feet underneath you. If you need to make it harder, feet go further towards the wall or go higher in the air. Okay, so knee tucks does require a fair bit of core strength. What you're going to try to do from a push-up position is bring both feet underneath you, keeping your legs as straight as possible. So the pull-up is in your abs and your core, not in your legs. Once again, it's a good shoulder and lower back stability exercise. Hip press, starting with your knees bent at 90 degrees and your heels in the sling, just lifting your hips and pelvis off the ground towards. You'll feel a lot of pressure in your hamstrings, so it is quite good for hamstring strength and glutes.
Thanks for watching another episode, guys. If you have any thoughts or need any more information, please leave a comment below. Check out our playlist and don't forget to subscribe.